Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the Rival Circuit Tournament. This is the quarterfinals. Up next on the dock, we have Team Tsuki versus Team Smily. My name is Whoopshoe. Joined alongside of me for today's action is going to be my good friend Goose and a newcomer,
Hello.
Mr. Hunted. Welcome into the stream.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sorry I couldn't be here for the beginning of it. You guys held it down, as you do. But excited to be here. Certainly ready to watch. I was actually watching. I got to watch most of the other couple of matchups, and I mean, just the fact that we saw an ace round already is pretty sick.
Yeah, it was really cool, especially from our perspective. The first one of the tournament, definitely probably not the last one of the tournament, too.
I hope
Definitely,
not.
yeah. Goose can probably talk about a lot of these teams out here, how close a lot of these teams have been. If you guys did miss some of the action, we are going to go ahead and recap that for you right now. The first team that we had was Team France taking on Team Beastie. Team Beastie pulling out the brooms and winning in a 2-0 fashion there against Team France, moving on to the semifinals. And then, if you guys just missed us and joining us from the break, we also had Team Europe taking on Team Ilya. Team Ilya going into that ace round that we were talking about, that best of 3 format, and winning it just by the skin of their teeth in a 2-1 fashion over that Team Europe squad. And like I said beforehand, now we have Team Smily taking on Team Tsuki. Goose, give us a little bit of background about these two teams.
All right. Well, Smiley, of course, is the team with Deos, one of my Atlas Esports brethren, as I've gone over earlier. But they also have some really, really strong players there. Morningstar, Smiley, and Noodle Brain are all very respected members of the community. And Team Tsuki is the self-proclaimed best NA items player.
Wow.
And I think they proved that last week. They're absolutely insane at what they do, and I am excited to see how things go. Hyphen and Mash Mayoru were really, really amazing as things went, and also, I am wondering as to where we are going to end up when it comes to the outcome of this game. So yeah, as we get our last player in, Hunter, what do you know anything about these teams? And if not, throw questions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not extremely familiar with the teams necessarily. I've watched a couple of tournaments. I think similar to a lot of folks in NA, I kind of joined in with Kart Rider Drift. This is my first Kart Rider game being a part of, so I'm learning as I'm going, as I'm sure you guys can relate to as well. And as far as the teams go, I don't think my input's necessarily going to be the best. I think you guys have a little bit more knowledge than I do on that. But what I have noticed, at least from the last couple of series, you talk about items, and having the best Japanese item player in the lobby might be I have a feeling that the way that the items work, at least in from watching as much as I have, it seems like there could be a huge disparity like amongst teammates. I think there's a lot of teamwork that comes into the item front, so I'm wondering, does that sort of like spread to the rest of the team? Or if you're that good of an individual player, could you carry a team like that? I don't know. I think it's interesting to find out.
I don't know, but a lot of what makes a good item player is versatility and your adaptability to many, many sections because of the variance that can present itself within there, and the restrictions that happen in an item scenario. Being able to immediately switch your mindset and go along this new path is extremely useful and shows a mastery of mechanics that we're hopefully going to see showcased. But first off, we got to get through the speed round. So,
Yep.
looks like Team Tsuki is going to start out on Gold Rush, this really tight but large corners map, and then with Bayside Bridge Run getting banned out, Snowbound is going to be the second one picked by Team Smiley. A nice rapid, just all gas, no pass, just plummet down a hill.
I was gonna say, Goose, I think that's the first time we actually seen snowbound slopes today, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, one mistake will land you in really, really big trouble because the average speed on this map is colossal and it takes a moment to get there. Uh,
Are we gonna
so
see that
yeah,
ancient aqueducts yet, or are the teams gonna actually listen to what I was requesting earlier? We're gonna see that one just yet, or it's gonna get banned again?
dude, I love aqueducts. Last time it was played as an item map, and there is one tube nearing the end, which is a momentum boost to anybody with high speed, and it is only about a cart and a half thick. So a barrier
Wow.
showed up, and the game was over.
Wow.
Oh, there it
Aqueducts,
goes.
oh, got banned.
Oh, just as we said it.
Yeah. So the rundown right
Honestly,
now, the
uh,
team,
uh,
Team Suzuki, they're going to be going ahead and going, like you said, for Gold Rush, and then we have Bayside Bridge getting banned, and then Team Smiley taking Snowbound for round number 2. Team Suzuki banning Winding Slopes, and then Ancient Aqueducts getting banned as well. So now we're waiting for that final, and if need be, round number 3 map right there for Team Suzuki. Sorry, but I want to remind everybody that this is 2 formats. Right now, we're in the speed format of this
there it is.
bracket,
Yes.
and then we're going to move on to the item portion of the bracket. Then, if need be, it goes down to the ace portion of the bracket. So each round, 2 teams play in one best of 3 squad speed and one best of 3 squad item. Squad mode is the 4v4 battle. If one team wins both of the best of 3 series, that team wins the round and they move on to the semifinals. But if there is a tie, it forces over into this ace round, which is a 1v1 format. You pick your best player, you put them against each other, and pretty much just, hope for the best and hope that your team moves on.
Absolutely. Now it looks like we are gearing up for this one. I am super excited to see this because a lot of these players we saw prove themselves to be quite proficient in this game's mechanics. It is so in depth, and the way that they were able to utilize all the different types of drifts and the tiny little minutia of the steering mechanics to their advantage was genuinely amazing. But here we go. We got Mash Maoru taking the first place pretty handedly, able to get a bunch of these cut drifts and build a ton of meter, pushing their way as far down this ramp as physically possible. Now, the average speed for this downhill section is mind-boggling. There's going to be an average of like 230 on that first section, which does only get faster as the map goes on. And if we look at where we are right now, we got Hyphen and Sue, who are just tailing Morningstar as they try to hold on to this front spot. And Smiley is going to make this third place slot happen and push their way into this portion where we did see Jacker biff it the other map. Like, such a horrifying position to be in.
Well, it looks like there's a little bit of a comeback. Actually, it looks like the colors were throwing me off there for a second. I think the colors are swapped on the teams. Team Smiley is in the red. It does look like it's swapped. Either way, in the red right now. I mean, with Morningstar in the lead, coming around this pretty fast corner. He seems pretty alone. I don't know if Hyphen can catch him up through that final section, but really I think it's the battle for third and fourth that's going to be super important. You can see Smiley sitting in a pretty good spot. They have such a big lead. There is a lot of blue boost too on the red side. Still,
oh my god,
waiting to be used. This is going to be super close. If Morningstar can maintain this first place spot, looks like he should. He is around that corner, and this should
Smiley
be
able to secure the third. This is very much a Smiley map right now. Deos being in that 7th place spot doesn't even matter with Morningstar and Smiley in first and third respectively. Really, really good game, but some tight times all around. Colors are now correct. Perfect.
Thank you for production for that. It was like I said, it was all confusing to me at the start, but it does make sense now. I mean, good first battle, obviously, between these teams. I was really excited to see Extreme Stadium get picked. I kind of hope we get to see it. I liked watching it, in that ace round that we saw just a series ago. So it would be nice to see the 4v4 round on it. But as you were saying, Goose, earlier on, that Snowbound Slopes, first time we get to see it today. And again, one of those super high speed, one mistake can really, kind of kill your run type deals.
Oh, it really can. You end up getting shot off into some of the brush, and your placement is dead in the water. Like, if you also, it puts you at risk of getting retired, because getting retired in this format specifically is a detriment to everybody involved, because you can have somebody in first and fourth, but if that fourth place person isn't able to cross the line, then you've lost those points.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously every point matters in this game mode as well. I think it's pretty obvious, the higher you place, the more points you get, but still, yeah. I mean, you can have a top spot, and if the rest of your team doesn't finish, doesn't matter. So we'll see as we start map number 2, Team Tsuki up against it here in the speed mode.
Yeah, no, an amazing showing from Team Tsuki is they're able to place 3 people pretty dominantly up front. That was an unfortunate bump, keeping Tsuki at a decent speed, but as we move through the statue portion, Morningstar and Smily are going to start gaining on this this 4-man lead, as there is a ton of just cluster happening. Smily passing Mash Mayoru and closing in on Tsuki. They were really unassuming in the first match, and seeing them show up now is exactly what the team needed. But getting passed by Smily, things are looking pretty red right now.
I mean, not even just passed, he was dominated there by Smily, slamming him into the wall, giving himself and Morningstar so much space, and you saw him finish it 1-2 there, or well, through the section 1-2 there. And now as we head in towards the final bit of lap number 1, starting lap number 2 again. I mean, Morningstar, he was pretty much on his own at the end of the first map, and you can see, I mean, you can barely see him on some of these screens right now.
Oh yeah,
he is so far ahead, and the fact that I don't think you're going to beat Morningstar here. Smily is right there with him. This is a desperate situation at the start of lap 2 here for Team Tsuki.
Oh yeah, and I'm taking a look at Morningstar right now, and by God, their lines are so tight at the moment. They're able to keep so much boost going constantly, and they're building so much with every stroke that they make. So they're just, you give this man a penny, he takes a mile.
Well, I mean, like, this is a pretty decent battle back, but a couple of mistakes. It's still, you're gonna have to get 2, 3, 4 most likely to win this map. Nobody's really going to be catching Morningstar, in my opinion, here as we are coming down through the quick speed section towards the end of this track. You can see Morningstar, I mean, just so technical, so
just blitzing it.
And it looks like it might be the top 3. It will be the top 3. Doesn't matter either way. Yeah. It's a win for Team Smily.
That is a Smily round 1 win. A really, really good showing, shunting what was the player that was honestly the biggest chance at a win this round, shunting them all the way down to 7th. Tsuki with a 2:49 time. An unfortunate way to lose your lead, but we are going to be moving over to the items side. Now, what you're seeing on screen right now is the item distributions with your placement. So in first place, you're going to get a lot of defensive items like shields and UFOs, maybe a little bit of speed and disruption with bananas and nitro.
So I just real quick before we get back into it, I mean, talking about cart selection and things like that, I know you guys were discussing it a little bit earlier. I wanted to ask you if you had an opinion. Everybody on Team Tsuki in that round were in mine carts, and you saw Morningstar was in a mine cart as well. But the two second and third place players, I think there was a Titan and a Brutus, and it felt like they were using those as sort of shields for Morningstar, right? Like, he's going to get out in front, just keep that sort of buffer away from him. And is that a legitimate strategy? I mean, can that work in a game like this?
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. I call them beaters essentially. So their job is disruption. They're like they are the bodyguards to your race ace, and you could see that the moment the Morningstar was able to take the lead, their lines got so much tighter, their drifting got so much cleaner, and the amount of time that they spent on boost exponentially increased because they were building massive chunks of bar for their team with every single slope that they hit. So it's definitely going to be interesting moving into the item round where you don't have such a scripted route that you're going to be taking,
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can try it, but it only works until a UFO kills you, essentially. So, um, uh, interesting. I wonder if we'll see maybe. Obviously, with the items, it is a little bit different. But I would be interested to see how does this change as far as cart wise go. Do we see Team Tsuki potentially changing carts? I'm not sure. Obviously, we'll have to find out. We see Polar Half Pipe and Clock Tower as the first two picks. Is there any map? I know that I just from reading chat and everything, Magma Cavern seems to be a not often picked map. But is there any map you'd like to see personally?
I've seen a lot of Gundam Streets. I like Motherload because it has just as I say it has those two really cool shortcuts on the penguin's nose and feet. Right. Which gives a lot of skill expression as well as some really, really cool item strategies that are pulled out. Shark's Wake is fun because you have these massive, massive open areas that allow for people to like drift around and commit shenaniganry that should be against the Geneva Convention. And then you have Icebreaker Pass, which is fun. Don't get me wrong, but a single barrier will halt the back half of the game. Like anybody who is like third place down, when a barrier comes up, you're not moving. You're not moving.
Yeah, when you break out the you get your elbows out and start ramming opponents as much as you can. I would like to see Sunset Plaza as potentially the third round. I mean, honestly, as a caster, there it is. So hey, maybe they were listening to me in the call there. But
you have the opposite of a caster's curse.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted what was I can't even remember. Was it Extreme Speed or something? I think on the last one, we got that round 3. Didn't did we get this one? Didn't get to see it last time though. But so again, how do we think that we're going to see a different result? Do you give the advantage to Team Tsuki here in the items over what Team Smily had in the speed?
I would definitely say that they have a much greater chance at this one because their team coordination was quite nice. They were able to get a bunch of backdrafts, and there was a lot of teamwork to. Unfortunately, Deos caught the short end of the stick in the speed rounds, getting just like pummeled in the back lines by the lower players of Tsuki. So I'd imagine we're going to be seeing something pretty cool. Tsuki themselves is actually going to be piloting a biplane for this one, so that should be an interesting one. I also see a turtle coming out, one of my personal favorite carts, coming out on the end of Smily, and then you're going to be seeing a lot more Titans in this one, where those bigger hitboxes and higher weight stats are going to be able to be more disruptive to people who are trying to line up things like wisps and water bombs.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at things, we are going to be going right into it, and right off the bat, tons of really, really big boosts happening. It looks like it's going to be pretty neck and neck, but that cannot be told until eventually we end up going into the more item chaos that is going to happen. And these half pipes are deadly for things like water bombs and barriers. So everybody has to be open and ready for that. And when you have one, you have to be coordinating with your team properly. And look at it, just as I was saying earlier, Tsuki immediately in first, being the ace racer. Oh my god, just tipping Deos over. The poor cactus getting rolled onto his blobular little spiky head. Oh my god.
And there is a UFO that just got pulled. Tsuki does have a shield, but it's not going to really help with the UFO. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Guardian Shield does not.
But look
do
at
a
the
whole lot against
magnets.
that.
I mean, you've got what?
Oh my god!
First and third with magnets, huge water bomb too, and that magnet is so useful.
Oh,
that was disgusting. That was, I mean, that completely nullified the advantage that Team Smily was able to gain there. But they did move 3 players up into those top 5 spots.
Oh my god, Deo's getting shunted down to last.
And that's the struggle with those big carts, right? I mean, in the item mode, you've got to deal with these barricades and the carts with the huge hitboxes. Nice UFO there. No Guardian Shield. Another one will come through.
Oh,
but
there's the UFO.
It's still looking blue to me here.
Absolutely, yeah. And another thing that is worth it to mention, that the moment that Hyphen took the lead, 2 actually slowed down and went further back into the into the 7th and 8th place. That way they could get items like lightning and UFOs more often. But there it is, another UFO taking out Hyphen. Deos now in a decent spot, and Noodlebrain is actually going to just speed through in just a mind-boggling speed, finishing at a 209.482, a good looking time as Team Smily is able to take the first speed.
So I'm not entirely sure what happened. It looked like Hyphen was in first, and there was that UFO that came in. I could have sworn, and I mean, obviously we don't have replay to go back, but I could have sworn that MASH had a blocker for it and didn't use it or didn't get it off in time. I didn't quite see exactly what happened as we kind of switched angles there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know if it ultimately would have mattered. I think there were a lot of items that came in, but
yeah. Well, Noodle had, I think, a mix of magnet and boost, which will get you up to max speed and will allow you to just pass anybody.
Yeah.
So that was just a very, very well played combination that came out, and there was some very clear coordination of like, hey, clear the area a little bit. Let me hook onto the first place person.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. It was a good fight all the way around. I think it's just for Team Tsuki, they kind of got. I mean, how much do you want to stay in first through 4 or first? Have your team in the top 4 spots in an item game mode, right? I mean, if you spend the first 2 laps, you're kind of losing out on all the big items towards the end.
Oh yeah, the strategies and the sacrifices that you have to make throughout this. Like, there are a lot of really big choices that are made throughout it. But here we go on to Clockwork, one of the mainstays of the item mode. And here we go, MASH taking a pretty distinct first place lead, followed by 2, and Hyphen and KDR are going to take up the sort of middle ground as they fight to secure this first place slot. Items are super defensive across the blue side with a Guardian Shield, a Wisp, and a bunch of shields.
There is a UFO blocker here, a good amount of boost for Team Smily. But I don't. It's hard to tell exactly what's happening up at the front. You can see through the shortcuts. That's so smart there from Tsuki too. I believe that was a block on a red player. and I'm not quite sure who the player was, but it gives a little bit more breathing room to the top two, though. Morningstar, again, with his speed and those speed rounds, he's going to be a tough contender here.
Oh, yeah. And look at all of the items getting popped the moment that MASH ends up getting closed in on, popping both abilities, and the lightning immediately comes out to shut him down. Big collision on the corner. KDR and 2 currently bringing up the center portion. And there it is, 2 getting shunted all the way to the back. Oh my god. Dude, look at that. Hyphen immediately playing defense the second that he gets shunted out of the alleyway. MASH and KDR are now taking up the first place ace positions, while Noodlebrain and Smily chase them at their heels, trying to get some speed items and trying to make their way up into first. MASH currently just getting bullied right now, trying to hold their position. Guardian Shield going up. They are protected for a second here. Oh, yeah, EMP on the UAV. I don't know what I'm saying, but on the UFO. Oh my god, double magnet.
Double magnet.
Noodle.
That's gotta be from the blue. That's gotta be from the blue side. Oh, he
oh my god.
It. And now it's gonna come down to top 5. It does look like this is gonna be Team Tsuki's.
Yeah. The only one that matters in the item is first place, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So it is a Team Tsuki victory. That was super close towards the finish there. But I mean, again, with how it looked like Team Tsuki were kind of their own worst enemies like twice, it seemed, in the matter of 30 seconds, they had team collisions that almost gave, I mean, obviously with the items and everything, but it kind of bunched them together. Maybe that was a good thing ultimately towards the end, but they were kind of lucky they happened early on in the race and not there on the last lap.
Oh yeah, it's also, like, again, the adaptability of, like, hey, I got bumped, I'm immediately going to play defense on the alleyway shortcuts, that way you guys can continue the lead, and it will never be perfect. Your strategies are to mitigate the chances of your opponent winning and maximize your own, but you'll never fully make it 100%, especially in an item mode such as this, you know?
Oh, sure, no, absolutely. So here we go. It's going to be Sunset Plaza for the final map. This is I am interested to see how this one plays out. I still, you've got to give it to Team Tsuki for sticking with it up to this point. It was a pretty tough speed round, and now after dropping map number 1 here in the items, we go to map 3. Ultimately, so we'll see what they can do. I'm still a little bit concerned for them. Even if they win this, you have to contend with potentially Morningstar in that ace round, which
we'll
get. I don't think they're thinking about that right now. I think right here, right now, let's just get the top spot here.
Yeah, right now the goal is to find this first one, and then afterwards you deal with Morningstar in the ace, but. Honestly, considering how the sort of team dynamic went through in that first one, actually we'll talk about this in the interim, but it looks like Morningstar is still being the speedster that they are and taking this first place spot. Deos falling from grace and then right back up to first. Icarus refusing to fall from this position as Hyphen trying to overtake them. And then Mash Mayoru. Oh my lord, everything is happening right now. Everybody is currently fighting for this first place slot. So many items getting thrown out as a lot of the center stage people, and it is a top red position as Tsuki.
Oh, they're good defensive items too.
Yeah, they are. That was mean. Letting Tsuki take that sort of second to fourth slot in order to just pelt them with items. Really, really unfortunate way to go, but here we go. Taking things tight and then getting a boost from Hyphen. Big water bomb, taking 2 red out.
I mean, Smily does have this top spot, though. Obviously, we are about, just over 2/3, just about to be 2/3 of the way done with this map. On to the final lap we go. It is Team Smily with the top 2 spots. Hyphen there going to contend. and really just no items on the side.